Okay, so how again, welcome to Speak English with Ves and Val. As you know, Val is sick tonight and I'm on my own, so please bear with me. I'm really not technically very good. But last week we talked about present simple. Anyone wants to remind us when we use present simple? And by the way, if you know that if you're not comfortable, we record these small sessions, especially the short presentational sessions, so that people can access them and watch them and see examples, etc. So yeah, as I told you, you don't have to use your camera or your real names, but if you're here, that means that you're okay with that. So now tell us, when do we use present simple? Just to refresh our memory. Yes, Chikuru, you need to unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
Now, as a present simple, if I can remember, we use the present simple to express repeated action.
Yes.
I mean, also habitual actions. When I come to general truth, for example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It's a general truth.
Very good. Yes, we use present simple for repeated actions. For example, every day I go to school. I usually get up at 9 for repeated actions first. Second, we use it for permanent situations. For permanent situations, meaning that it's something like, it's like that. For example, she teaches German. That means she's a teacher. This is what she does. Also, we use it with general truths. As you said, as Chikuru said, the sun rises in the east. Water freezes at 0 degrees. People play chess with 32 pieces. So this is in general how things happen. And also use present simple with state verbs. State verbs, these are verbs that express emotions, feelings, also verbs that express possessions. Here we will have, own, belong, possess. Okay, I have one exercise for you, practical exercise, just to check that you know how to ask questions in present simple. The sentence, I'll send it to you in the chat. So the sentence is, Jordan plays video games with Alice's brother every Sunday at 6 p.m. So let's first ask yes and no question. How do we ask yes and no question? Anyone?
Does it begin with the...
Okay, Achinta or?
Yeah, it must begin with auxiliary. Does that person play with the other person every day?
But how are we going to ask the yes and no question? We start with the auxiliary verb. So the sentence is Jordan plays video.
Okay.
So
I want to say 1%. Yes or no question. Does Jordan play video games with Alice's brother every Sunday at 6 p.m.?
Exactly. Does Jordan play video games? Exactly. Does Jordan play? Okay, we can also ask the same question in the negative form, right? Doesn't Jordan play video games? We usually ask negative questions when we have an idea what the answer is. Okay, so let's ask questions about each word in this sentence. The first word should be about Jordan. How are we going to ask a question about Jordan? We start with who, right? Anyone?
Who plays video games?
Yes. Who plays video games?
Exactly. Who plays video games? Who plays video games? These are the easiest questions when you ask about the subject. Who plays video games? Okay. Next question. Question about play. Okay, Alamgir.
What does Jordan play?
This is question about video games, but a question about plays. What does
Jordan do?
Yes, Johannes. What does Jordan do every Sunday? Very good. Okay, question about video games. You already asked, what does Jordan play? But now question only about video.
Play.
Only about video. What kinds of
What kind of games
Games.
Yes,
Jordan
what
plays.
kind of games does Jordan play, right? Good. Okay, what kinds of games does Jordan play? Next question, with Alice's brother. This is a little bit more difficult.
Who is playing with
Who
Jordan?
does the Jordan play with?
With whom does Jordan play video game?
Okay,
Play video games. With
okay,
whom?
Chikuru.
Yeah, with whom does Jordan play video games?
Yes, but you know, even if you want to sign it even a bit better, you know, this preposition can go at the end of the sentence. We can say, who does Jordan play
Does
video
Jordan
games with?
play video games
Who
with?
does
Yes, who
Yeah.
does he play with? Who does he play with? All right.
Right.
Okay, if we also want to ask a question about Alice's, how do you put this? Alice's. Yes, Mary? Mary, want to try?
Yes, and I think, what time do you play tennis?
But we want to ask a question about Alice's. So it will be a little bit more difficult. Whose brother? Whose brother for possession?
Whose brother? Yes. Whose brother? Yeah.
Yeah. Whose brother does John play video games with? Whose brother? Alice's brother. Whose brother? You know this whose when we ask about possession. Whose brother?
Yeah.
Whose brother? Whose brother does Alice? Whose brother does Jordan play video games with? Okay. Actually, it's very important to be able to ask questions correctly in English.
For sure.
And the structure about asking questions in English is very specific. We always start with the question word, then we immediately after that we put the auxiliary verb.
Auxiliary.
In present simple, this is do and does, or don't and doesn't. Then we put the subject. In this case, it's Jordan. And in the fourth place, we put the main verb. And in present simple, the main verb is always in infinitive form, right? So, okay, so next question. Every Sunday.
How often
When
does?
Okay, when is more about question about 6 p.m. When or what time? But if you want to ask how often? How often?
How often?
Yes,
How
how
often? Yeah.
often? Yes. How often does Jordan play video games with, yeah. How often? And then the last one will be when or what time.
What time?
Yes, exactly. How often does, exactly. The only questions that don't follow this structure are the questions that are questions about the subject. And those are the easiest. We just remove Jordan and say who plays. Who plays? This is easy. But what does Jordan do? What does Jordan play? What kinds of games does Jordan play? Who does Jordan play with? Okay, this is clear?
Yeah. Clear.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your help. Anyone wants to say something or to add any question? Do you have any questions? We can use often. We use often when we want to say yes, we want to say the frequency with which something happens. For example, I often get up at 6. It's not always, but it's also not rarely. I often, for example, 5 out of 7 days, I get up at 6. Often. Also, when we want to ask about the frequency about an action, we can ask the question how often. So very often we ask this question with present simple. How often? Always, usually, never, sometimes. So all these are words that are typical for present simple. Okay, we talked a lot about present simple, and because we have time a little bit, I will start today to talk about present continuous. I will try to share my presentation, but since, as I told you, I'm not so good with sharing, let me see if I managed to share my screen. Okay, let me see. You tell me if you see my presentation.
Yeah,
Do you see it?
it works.
Yes,
We see
clear
it.
now.
Aha, okay.
Yes, ma'am, we can. Yes, ma'am.
You see?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, we
ma'am.
can.
Yeah, ma'am.
We can see, ma'am.
Very good. So you can a little bit mute yourself so that there is not much noise. Please mute yourself. And once I stop, you can ask me questions. Okay, present continuous, we use in several cases. When we use present continuous, it's for actions that are happening right now. For example, I can say, we are speaking English at the moment. It's happening right now at the moment. Also, for example, Ted is working on his new book now, right now, at the moment. Also, we can use present continuous when we talk about permanent temporary actions, not like present simple. Present simple is for permanent, present continuous is for temporary. For example, Mary's working at the mall for the summer. It's only for the summer. Maybe we can say Mary works at the library. This is her permanent job, but she is working at the mall for the summer because this is temporary. Also, another example is Jessica is using her sister's laptop this week. It's only this week. Usually she uses her own laptop, but this week she's using her sister's laptop. Is this clear? Okay, next one. When we talk about changes, like especially like current changes, something that is happening now, but we can see how it is changing. For example, our children are getting smarter every day. Our children are getting smarter and smarter every day. So this is about a change. Or also, people are eating more and more organic food. We are talking about a current change, something that is changing. And also one more fun use of present continuous is when we want to express annoyance, when somebody annoys us. For example, my brother is always using my car, and this annoys me. If you can say my brother always uses my car, but in this case we will not express annoyance. But if we use present continuous with always, that means that this really annoys us. Or my neighbors are always leaving their trash outside. Again, this is something that annoys us. Okay, okay, sorry. And how we make present continuous? We make present continuous with one form of the verb be plus the verb in ing. For example, I'm working, you are working, he, she, it is working, we are working, you are working, they are working. It's important not to skip the auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb is am, is, are, the forms of the verb be. This is how we make present continuous. And then, okay, and I'll also talk a little bit about the spelling rules. If the verb ends with E at the end, like write, dance, use, the E drops at the end. Dance, dancing, write, writing. So this E at the end, we leave it. Also, another spelling peculiarity is, for example, if we have short verbs, usually 3 or 4 letters, with short vowels, like run, cut, win, put, we double the last consonant. Run, running, cut, cutting, stop, stopping, win, winning. Okay, and also one more interesting thing is when we have when the verb ends with ie, like die, dying, lie, lying, ie turn into an y. Okay, so these were just the beginning, and maybe next time we can a little bit continue with more. So, do you have any questions? Or anything else to add about present continuous? Something that I missed or something? Yes, Chikuro, please go ahead.
Can I have a question
Thank you so much.
about
Wait.
the
Okay,
Thank you so
so
much
okay,
for
Johannes
accepting
and
me.
then Chikuro. Okay, Johannes, go ahead.
Can I have a question about the previous session, Mrs. Fest, about the question when you when you ask about every Sunday you just tell us about using how often, but actually how often is asking about frequency, right? So if you ask how often, maybe the answer must be once a week or every day or 2 times a week. something like that. But actually, I think if we want us every Sunday, if you want to have the answer every Sunday, so we must ask like this: in what day does Jordan play?
Yeah, I
Something like that.
understand, but how often is every Sunday? How often it's again? Maybe you can say twice a week. Twice a week is also an answer to how often. How often do you drink milk? I drink milk twice a week or 3 times a week. So it's again how often, because we say how often, what is the frequency? In this time, it's like every Sunday. That means every 7 days we do that.
Okay, so
because it's every Sunday. We can say if it was on Sundays, maybe you can say which days does he play video games on? Which days he plays video games on? Okay, good. Thank you for the question. Very good. Chikuru, you wanted to say something, please.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is a general rule, maybe about what you're telling us on as far as the present continuous is concerned. Then what I would say is that we normally form the present continuous tense, keeping the verb to be. That helps us to form the present continuous tense, which exactly wouldn't be to confuse with the form of the gerund. When we take, for example, I'm studying for gaining life. You see? I'm studying, this is the present continuous tense, but for gaining life, this is a gerund form, which looks like a present continuous tense, yet wouldn't to be confused.
Yes. This is another thing, because an ing form doesn't mean necessarily present continuous. There are many ing forms. For example, we have adjectives: interesting, exciting, relaxing. These are adjectives. We also have nouns. For example, swimming is a great sport. So there are a lot of ing forms that are not present continuous. So if we see ing, that doesn't mean continuous. That might mean a lot of other things.
Yes.
Thank you, Vayu, for which also your comment. It's which day of the week. You can say which day of the week does Jordan play video games on? Which day of the week does he play video games on? Yes, because with days we usually use on. I play video games on Mondays. I may do play games on Tuesdays, etc. Okay, guys, I don't know. What do you think about this kind of sessions with a little bit grammar? Do you like it? Do you think it's useful for you at the end? If at the end in our sessions we do something like this, it can be grammar, it can be vocabulary, a bit practical exercises. Do you like this or not? What do you think?
I like it. I like it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Alamgir. Okay, Hari?
Ma'am, it is very helpful to us. Please continue like this.
Okay, so you like it?
Yeah, very much.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other feedback?
Everything is correct in all.
Okay, so if you want, so next time we'll continue a little bit with present continuous. We can also do a little bit more exercises, and I'll prepare maybe some other fun things, and we also include some vocabulary. Maybe some in the future we'll do even more complex things. These are just simple. This is the basic: present simple, present continuous. But in the future we'll talk about conditionals, about modal verbs. We will also include some interesting expressions with some fun stuff, so that we can also learn. Of course, we can have fun. Also, we can learn something. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It was a great session, and thank you everybody to your contribution. If you have any questions, suggestions, please message me or Val. And of course, we missed Val tonight. She is sick, but hopefully she'll be with us on Sunday. Okay, guys, so have a very nice evening, day, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I'll see you on Sunday. Same time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
See you, guys. See you.
See you
It was great.
again,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Bye-bye.
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 Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Rodrigo. Bye. Thank you. See you.